morning. It's Rod Logus here with Austen Brower. Austin and I have known each other for quite a while, but Austin, we're talking about gratitude today. But first, let's take a step back. If we could just share with our audience a little bit about yourself, that would be great.
Great. Yeah, thanks for having me, Rod. Yeah, we've known each other for 10 years now or something like that. But
Yep.
my background is in a couple different areas, but originally started out more in the nonprofit space and then found my way to the startup arena, I guess, in operations and sales. But during that journey, I really got enamored with gratitude and spent a year writing 365 notes of gratitude, one each day, which ultimately led me to write a book about that experience and basically a framework of how to think about gratitude journeys and projects. So, yeah,
But,
that's
but
a real high
but
level
why did you
view.
go down that journey even? What started you in wanting to do the journey of writing 365 days of gratitude, and what made that important to you?
Yeah, for me, it was, I was at a point in my life where I was in the middle of a grad program, getting my MBA, and was kind of at a low spot where was being extremely social. My girlfriend, which she's now my wife, was living across the country. And so for me, I thought I needed a bit of a reset. And that project to do the gratitude notes was a way to, give back and kind of get clarity on what's important in life. And that's
Very
really
cool.
what kind of prompted that journey.
I remember getting one of those note cards from you, so thank you. I still have it, so it's very special, that's for sure.
Yeah, great.
So, and then after you wrote these 365 notes over the course of the year, why did you decide to write the book? Why not just say, "Hey, that was a cool experiment"? What led you to do that?
Yeah, honestly, that one was maybe a little more of a selfish goal of wanting to write a book. I've always wanted to write a book, and it just so happened the Georgetown graduate program had a class to help you write a book and take you through the initial stages of publishing. And so the experience was a bit eye-opening for me, the writing or the gratitude note writing part. And so I felt it was a good opportunity to actually write about something that mattered to me versus just kind of choosing a random topic. So those really the timing is what lined up. I didn't set out to write gratitude notes to write a book. I just happened to have that course around the same time I was writing the gratitude notes.
And then what, pretty cool that you get to write a book and get credit for it. That's pretty neat. What's the name of the book?
Yeah, it's gratitude, a work in progress.
Okay. So gratitude, a work in progress. With Thanksgiving Day upon us, and you're out there spending time with your family, which is fantastic. The what I was hoping you could share with us is some ideas and ways to share gratitude in the workplace. And I wonder if that's even any different than gratitude in general. Like, why should I care? Just saying, as a business owner,
Yeah.
why should we founders even think that gratitude's important in the workplace? I believe it is, but I'd love to hear
Right.
from the author on the subject. Why is it important?
Yeah, it's a fun question. And like you're saying, I think there's a lot of intersection between individual gratitude projects and business gratitude projects. Most important thing I think is to recognize it's not rocket science and it's not going to flip a switch on your organization right away, but to be intentional about gratitude is powerful in your individual perspectives and can also lead to positive business outcomes as well. So I think there's research out there around employee happiness leading to retention, which impacts the culture of an organization and also impacts. I know we've talked a lot about hiring and rehiring and training as an expensive endeavor. So if you can keep good people, it's valuable. And it's also a way to really make sure that people pay you. So there's some stories that I can reference for you, but gratitude can help your internal culture, you as an individual leader, and the perspective that you have on your organization, but also business outcomes throughout it. So I don't know if it's helpful. There's another book by John Kralik, and he wrote 365 Thank Yous, the year, a simple act of daily gratitude. And for him, he worked in the legal space, and at the time that he started his project, there was a fair amount of people who had not paid him. And so he started to write thank you notes to, a bunch of people in his life, but some of the folks that he was writing to were people who hadn't paid him yet. And he was just thanking them for their business. But the thank yous really were the start of a conversation for him with those unpaid
Wow.
invoices. And it ultimately led him to get all those payments back. It wasn't the full amount. It was, hey, we need to space these out, space these payments out, but it opened the conversation. And then it also helped them and sure, he got paid in the future because he started to think more about the relationship and being grateful for his clients and starting off on a better note versus just thinking of it as a transaction. So I
That's
realize that
awesome.
I
That's a
threw a lot at you
relationship. Yeah.
there, but yeah,
No, it's interesting. It's funny because we bought a boat 5 years ago, and the boat was called SS Grateful.
hmm
And it's amazing. Every time I talk to a vendor, a contractor, or somebody comes on the boat, you just think about that is, how can I share gratitude with others? And
yeah,
so it's really a neat, any kind of reminder for me about sharing gratitude can be so powerful, whether it's in business or outside business. I think it's so important. As we're talking about it, maybe we'll come back to the end of it, but other
yeah.
resources that people might be able to use to infuse gratitude into their business, which I do believe is hugely powerful. That's for sure. Come back, here's a couple other questions. What are some ideas or great ways to share that gratitude and build that culture of gratitude within our workplaces?
Yeah. When I think about that in the workplace, there's a few ways that you can do it. You can do it in written form, verbally, and then also through intentional acts. And all of these written, verbal, and intentional acts can be to yourself and to others. And so, written form, writing thank you notes, sending thank you emails, verbally, if you have different all hands or even in a client meeting, making sure that you're saying, wow, that was a really great presentation. You really nailed the delivery of that. And then through intentional acts, such as taking folks to lunch with the intention of this is a lunch because I'm grateful for what you did on that project and getting it to the finish line on time. Not just, hey, let's go to lunch, but setting the boundary of the lunch around this is because of what you did. So that's more for others. And then I think for yourself too, as leaders, you work with a lot of business founders. It's important to be grateful to the work that you do and make sure you do your own self-care there so that you can have the right perspective and mindset when you're working with others and yourself. During the book writing process, I think those were many of the ways: writing notes, writing emails, the gratitude lunches. Some organizations would have a gratitude wall where you can have a wall in maybe your common space or even a virtual
Great
wall.
idea.
And then just public recognition would be a few ways to think about it.
That gratitude wall that you just mentioned and the virtual gratitude wall, I think that's something I'm going to figure out how do we start doing in 1 degree
Yeah.
tomorrow? Because, we see and we share a lot of gratitude in 1 degree. And quite frankly, it's never enough because we have great team members and great clients. To have that wall of gratitude that you can go back and look at, hey, Cindy, Sonia, whoever the case may be, thank you for doing X, Y, and Z. I think that's a very powerful pillar of building that gratitude, that culture of gratitude.
Mhm.
So that's a great insight. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And Rod, I know this isn't the first time we've talked about gratitude and you named your boat about gratitude, but how do you and Jen at 1 Degree Financial apply gratitude in your own business and
Hey
maybe
man,
specifically for clients?
I'm supposed to be asking the questions, not you, but
Conversation, right?
conversation. That's right. That's right. So, I think, thank you for asking that. There are two ways that we do this currently, and we want to continue to build on top of. One is on a personal level. I have an appointment that I learned every day. I have an appointment on my calendar called gratitude. And I learned this from a gentleman named Mike Sherbakoff, who's the founder of the Founders Institute. And so every day on my calendar, it says gratitude, 7:15 in the morning. How am I going to take a moment to think about what I'm grateful for in my life, in my work? And I take a moment and try most days to actually honor that appointment and recognize or say thank you to a lot of different
Mhm.
people in that process. It gives me a chance to connect and champion and celebrate those men and women. So I'm very
Yeah.
appreciative of that. So that was a
Well, and
great,
Rod, sorry to
yep.
cut you off there. I think what's so important about that and what I found in my 360 days to be consistent with it, you really have to ritualize the practice of gratitude. And so, you as a leader to have that on your calendar and start to build in the good habits of giving it, I imagine has kept you honest more than not on delivering it. And so, as your founders go about thinking about it, again, it's not rocket science. Find a way to attach your gratitude activities for yourself or your organization within an existing ritual, whether it's checking your calendar in the morning or having a group lunch on Fridays.
Yeah, it's funny. You said 360, and imagine gratitude 360 is, making sure that you share that gratitude with, quite frankly, yourself, and all your other stakeholders in your life, your family, your
Hmm.
friends, your team members, your clients. And I know there's a variety of different ways of doing that with those different stakeholders, but to think about that as a 360, I think is really an important. The other way we like to share gratitude, Austin, is we call it the champions meeting. So once a week we meet as a company and we hold the champions meeting. And that is where we go around the table per se, or Zoom room or whatever, and we share what we're grateful for that week. It's oftentimes a team member, a client, or the stakeholder, or even some of our family members. Hey, I'm grateful for this, or I'm grateful for whatever the case may be. And,
Hmm.
not only does it give you a moment to share that gratitude, it gives you a chance to get to know each other better. I'm grateful for my son was able to face this challenge and get through it. I'm grateful for my family to support me through a medical challenge, or my team member who helped me figure out something I've been trying to figure out for weeks on my own. It it
Right.
it doesn't just help yourself; it helps build that culture of success. I would say it builds in more resilience into your team because
Hmm.
there's always challenges in business. But the more we build up our bank of gratitude, the easier it is to get through each challenge together because we know we're looking out for each other. And for me, it's really become an important piece of the business, building that
Hmm.
culture. In fact, about a year ago, I thought, well, maybe this champions meetings ran its course. Maybe we should stop doing it. I asked the team, they're like, no, we're going to keep that meeting. I thought I owned the business.
Yeah.
I may own the business, but what's great is when you see your team members taking control over that culture, and that
Yeah.
culture of gratitude is such a key component of building a great workplace.
Well,
So,
and Rod, to your point of gratitude opening up conversations about family, I think gratitude inherently is, in some senses, one saying, I have to be grateful or appreciative of something outside of myself for something. And so it opens up a bit more of a shared vulnerability. So if you're trying to create a transparent and a trusting culture, you can't do
mhm.
that without having some shared vulnerability between the leaders and the employees. And so using gratitude as a tool to do that, it sounds like that's been extremely positive for you all.
It is. It has been absolutely, and we love it. Everybody loves it, so it's really cool. That's
And
for sure.
there's
Um,
you kind of made me think of this other organization. It's called The Mighty, and it's a digital health community. They're founded by Mike Porath, and the community is around folks who have received curveballs in their life. So Mike, his daughter has a rare chromosome disorder, and he had a lot of trouble finding resources for it, but ultimately found one PDF from a parent and got a ton of value out of this PDF. And it wasn't from a doctor, it wasn't from a professional, but it was from somebody who was going through a similar situation. And so he created a community around that. And they got a lucky break one time of this viral video. And out of that viral video, they created a kind of an input form for folks to share their own stories about their curveballs in life. And they had so much traffic that they started to test different iterations of the submit button. So it started out share your own story, become a mighty contributor. But there was one version of that button that got 5x the submissions, and it was write a thank you letter to someone who has helped you on your health journey. Submit here.
wow. Hmm.
And I only bring that up because we often think about gratitude as saying thank you to someone in the office or writing an email, but they were able to use that with their customers effectively to grow their membership because people were more willing to say thank you and celebrate others than they were themselves. And I just think that's a unique way to pull gratitude into the organization with those other stakeholders who aren't necessarily the internal team.
Hmm. It's amazing because I go up to Johns Hopkins Hospital a few times a year with a loved one, and that place is filled with love and gratitude and love of everyone that's there. It's absolutely amazing, and to see that gratitude come out is just incredible. And there's so many different ways. I'm telling you, from the time you park your car to the time you leave, you feel a sense of gratefulness that they get to serve others. It's just amazing. Really, really
Yeah,
amazing thing.
it is an amazing thing. And how do you pull that into your own organization? You all are a
Mhm.
client facing group and you're serving your internal community and you're serving your clients.
Yeah.
Um, and how do you make sure your clients and your folks feel that? Some of the things we talked about I think already help go to do that. But how cool of a world would it be if our business owners were saying we get to serve our clients and make their days better as well.
That's right. That's right. You know, it's interesting when people can win and share that gratitude with you. One thing we've started recently was a scholarship fund. We work with a lot of veteran founders, a lot of veteran business founders. So
Hmm.
we just recently started the Dick Logis scholarship fund that champions and celebrates founders, and we're rewarding a scholarship to the children of scholarships to the children of business founders, veteran business founders. But every time we meet somebody, a new client, a new prospect, a new whatever, we make a small donation in that client's name, that person's name, or our team member's name, and everyone gets to be part of that success story, about that thank you story of giving back um, to others. And I think that's an important piece, is that actionable thing that we can do as a group, as a team, as a company, is to give back to our champions, our unique clients that we serve. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is
Um,
neat.
yeah, we love it. We love it. I hope our clients do too.
Of
So I know time grows short here, and I really appreciate your time.
course.
Any final thoughts on gratitude in the workplace? Unique things you've seen, or things not to do? Not to share gratitude in the workplace.
Final thoughts. I think just get out there and try something with regards to gratitude. If it's something that you want to have as an important pillar of your business, it's important that you talk about it and you ask others to join you on that journey. And as we spoke about earlier, really ritualizing it within existing habits of the organization or your own habits as a leader.
Hmm.
And kind of the final thought, it's one of the more interesting pieces of research that I found writing the book, and it's that often as givers of gratitude, or sorry, I'll rephrase it. You know, if we all know gratitude is good, individually and for an organization, why don't we do it more? And Dr. Amit Kumar found that it really comes down to expectations and competence, and that a potential giver of gratitude often doesn't give gratitude because they feel like the person who would be the receiver of it already knows that they're
Hmm.
appreciated, or that the giver feels like whatever they write or say isn't going to be enough. In his research, he finds that actually the receivers of gratitude value it by its worth, and that almost overvalue it. So if you as the giver think of, hey, Austin giving Rod gratitude, I think you'll appreciate it at a 3. When I give you the gratitude note, you actually appreciate it at a 5
Hmm.
out of 5. And so all that to say is whatever type of gratitude you can give, it's better than you think it's going to be. And it's still important to say it or to do that intentional act because it means a lot to folks. So, yeah, in the coming weeks towards the end of the year, take a moment as a business leader to give gratitude to different stakeholders in your life, even if it's just a passing comment. It does make a
Yep.
difference.
And what about last question from me? Well, second to last. I always have one
Okay.
more, right?
Yeah.
But the what about the importance of showing gratitude in the moment, as close as to something that happened, versus waiting? Is there a difference in that? What's your insights on that, Austin?
I think both are important. There's both are important. So trying to do both is great. I think there's the public validation of gratitude in the moment really, I think, shows people right away the action or the thing you did is important. But it's some of the most valuable and eye-opening thank you notes that I received were from people who mentioned something specific that happened months ago or even years ago. And to know that my little action, whatever it was, had that impact on someone that they're remembering it years later
Hmm.
is also kind of inspiring. So if you're giving gratitude, try to think of something specific, especially if it's your employees, even if it happened at the beginning of the year, because that will show your employees that you're listening and watching and appreciating the good things that they do.
Well, that's a great insight. That's a great insight. Thank you for this, Austin. Last question. What's one thing that you're extremely grateful for this year?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's an easy one. My wife and I had a baby girl. So her name's Emery. And, it was a longer process than we thought. So we're just so grateful to have her. She's now 3.5, 4 months old. and is just a light in the world and in our family. So we're very grateful for that.
Fantastic. Austin, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate your help in understanding gratitude in the workplace better. And we hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks so much.
Thank you. You as well.